Hey everyone, if you want to see me use my new Monport 80-watt CO2 laser to turn this pile of scrap crate material into a computer cart, stick around. So the material I'm going to be using for this project is 10mm plywood, and it is actually the shipping crate that my Monport laser was shipped in. No need for anything fancy here, just use the old circular saw to cut this plywood down to roughly 24 by 36 inch panels, which is the size of my laser bed. Okay, so I haven't tried this material yet, but like I said, it's 10 millimeters. I just cut a small scrap piece from some of the offcuts, and I'm going to throw it in here and see if we can work out some settings before we start cutting all the parts. Okay, so I did some testing on this material. Again, 10 millimeter plywood. Looks like it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plies. And this is all one pass, so I've almost got it cutting. I'm going to do one more here. I think one more setting and we should dial this in. So I'm going to put a new piece in and let's see what happens. It's really important just to test any new material that you have because, especially with plywood, I've noticed, I don't have a lot of experience, but I've noticed that just depending on the different layers and how much glue is in between each layer, sometimes it just cuts weird. Like this is 10 millimeters and it's kind of having, I'm kind of having to up the power quite a bit, but this material that I've tested before is 1/2 inch plywood. And it cut through clean just with probably like half the settings, half the power. So it's just all different. So after making my test cuts, I settled on 7 millimeters per second at 45% power. So here I am cutting some of the final parts for the cart, and as you can see from the smoke buildup, I forgot to turn my exhaust fan on. Don't forget to do that. Much better now with the fan on. Looks like everything's cutting out nicely, and just for reference, I am using the 2-inch lens that came stock on the machine and the stock air assist. Okay, we got all the parts cut here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these longer strips and glue them together into an L shape. Right now they're pretty flexible, pretty flimsy, but once I get them together in this orientation, they're going to be pretty strong. So this is going to be the main legs of the cart. Let's get it together. One thing I did do is just very quickly made a quick little jig so one piece can fit in here like so, and I'm able to glue these pieces together. So let's get to it. I'm only using glue and pin nails to connect everything together on this project. It's just a light duty cart. I think this should just be fine, but time will tell. Okay, the next part of the assembly is going to be the 2 shelf units. And these are not only going to be for storage, but they're going to help tie the legs together and provide rigidity. I've marked out where I need to put the glue so I don't spread it too far. So a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to pin nail it and clamp it. Okay, so let's put the second shelf on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the top stretcher pieces as a guide in order to place these shelves. I'll show you how I do that. And next we'll put the 4 stretcher pieces at the very top. Okay, so one of the last things we got to do is put the casters on the bottom. So what I did is I cut out some 3x3-inch squares, and I laminated 2 of them together to make them a little bit thicker. And I'm going to put these on the bottom, and that's just going to give me a little extra meat to screw into when I put the casters on. So let's get that done. And finally, the last thing to do is just to apply a little bit of spray lacquer. Okay, so there you have it. How I used my 80-watt Monport CO2 laser to take trash and turn it into something useful. So far this cart's been really excellent. No complaints on it. It's been holding up really good. I've been using it for a couple of months now since I've completed the build. And it might not be the prettiest cart in the whole world, but man, it's useful. It gets the job done. And again, I just took, you know, what would have been normally trash and turned it into something useful. So I like that aspect of it. You know, after completing the cart, I put a power strip on the side of it, which is really useful, and I just use this storage for just everyday things that I use on the laser. And on the bottom here, I put my camera equipment. But it's been really nice, especially moving from the laser and wheeling it over behind me to the CNC to use as a workstation over there. It's really nice to have everything bundled in one package. All I got to basically do is disconnect the USB cord from the laser and the power cable and wheel it on over to start cutting on my CNC. So that's very nice. All right, well, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you really liked it, I asked you to subscribe and follow along, because we have a lot more projects coming up in the future, not only on the Monport CO2 laser, but also on the CNC back there, and some other woodworking stuff we have going on in the shop. We're very busy right now, so we have a lot to share. All right, thanks a lot. Stick around. We'll see you later.